प्रसाद गोपुर सभा चैत्य देवगृह आदिषु चैत्य देवगृहादिषु विन्यस्त हेमकलशैः हेमोकलशैः पताकाभिः च मंडिता पताकाभिश्च मंडिता प्रसाद गोपुर सभा चैत्य देवगृहादिषु विन्यस्त हेमकलशै पताकाभिश्च मंडिता प्रसाद गोपुर सभा चैत्य देवगृहादिषु विन्यस्त हेमकलशैः पताकाभिश्च मंडिता prasada in palaces, gopura palace gates, sabha assembly houses, chaitya raised platforms, devagriha temples wherein deities are worshipped, adishu and so on, vinyasta placed, hemakalashahi with golden water pots, patakabihi by flags, cha also, mandita bedecked. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the palaces, the palace gates, the assembly houses, the platforms for meeting places, the temples and all such places were decorated with golden water pots and bedecked with various types of flags. Can you repeat the translation? The palaces, the palace gates, the assembly houses, the platforms for meeting places, the temples and all such places were decorated with golden water pots and bedecked with various types of flags. There is no purport. I'll read the next text. I'll read the next series of texts as there is no purport for any of them till the end of this chapter. Text 28. Pugai savrintai rambhabhihi pattakabhi suvasasam adarshair amshukai sragbhihi kritakautka toranam. Wherever Lord Ramachandra visited, auspicious welcome gates were constructed with banana trees and betel nut trees, full of flowers and fruits. The gates were decorated with various flags made of colorful cloth and with tapestries, mirrors and garlands. Text 29. Tam upeyus tatra tatra paura arhana panayah ashisho yujurdeva pahi mam prak Prayotritam. Wherever Lord Ramachandra visited, the people approached him with paraphernalia of worship and begged the Lord's blessings. O Lord, they said, as you rescued the earth from the bottom of the sea in your incarnation as a boar, may you now maintain it. Thus we beg your blessings. Text 30. Tata praja vikshapatim chiragatam didrikshayot srishta grihastriyo naraha aruhya harmyani arvindalochanam atripta netra kusumait avakiran. Thereafter, not having seen the Lord for a long time, the citizens, both men and women, being very eager to see him, left their homes and got up on the roofs of the palaces. Being incompletely satiated with seeing the face of the lotus-eyed Lord Ramachandra, they showered flowers upon him. Texts 31 to 34. Ata pravishna swagriham jushtam svai purva rajabihi ananta kila koshadhyam anargyoru parichadam vidrumo tumbaradvarair vaidhurya stamba panktibihi stalair marakatai swachchair brajat spatika bittibihi chitrasragbi pattikabhir vaso mani ganam shukaihi mukta phalaishchit ullasai kanta kamopapattibihi धूपदीपै सुराभिर् मंडितं पुष्पमण्डनै स्त्रीपुंभिः सुरसङ्काशैर् जुष्टं भूषणभूषणैः. Thereafter, Lord Ramachandra entered the palace of his forefathers. Within the palace were various treasures and valuable wardrobes. The sitting places on the two sides of the entrance door were made of coral. The yards were surrounded by pillars of Vaidhurya mani. The floor was made of highly polished and the foundation was made of marble. The entire palace was decorated with flags and garlands and bedecked with valuable stones, shining with the celestial effulgence. The palace was fully decorated with pearls and surrounded by lamps and incense. The men and women within the palace all resembled demigods and were decorated with various ornaments, which seemed beautiful because of being placed on their bodies. Text 35. Tasmin sa Bhagavan Rama snigdhaya priyayeshtaya reme swaramadhiranam rishabha sitaya kila. Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chief of the best learned scholars, resided in that palace with his pleasure potency, Mother Sita, and enjoyed complete peace. Text 36. Bhuje cha yatha kalam kaman dharmam apidhayan varshapugan bahun brunam abhidhyatangri pallavaha. Translation. Without transgressing the religious principles, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by devotees in meditation, enjoyed with all the paraphernalia of transcendental pleasure for as long as needed. Thus ends the Bhakti purports of the 9th canto, 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. Om Jnanati Vinandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namade. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gautavani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschati Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So these series of verses are very inspiring and instructive for all of us to know the opulence during the time of Lord Ramachandra. It is described that the palaces, the palace gates, the assembly houses, and even the place where people used to meet, and also the temples, and many such places were all decorated with golden water pots. And decorated with various kinds of flags. You can just imagine the opulence here. Even the meeting places had golden water pots. It is said that at every major point, especially like, for example, the entrance of a temple, entrance of a house, those days during Lord Rama's time, even during Krishna's time, they used to keep golden water pots. And the water pot must be filled with water. These are very auspicious symptoms. There are many things you can do as per the Vedic culture to bring about auspiciousness. Many simple things. These are some of them. Even tying mango leaves at the entrance, erecting a banana tree or a betel nut tree. That's why in marriages, if you see, it's also described here also, that when Lord Ramachandra came to Ayodhya, the people of Ayodhya had constructed, there were no props during those times. Props means the artificial decoration used by the flower decorators. You can see the mantap and all these things made with some kind of POP materials. But here we can see that Lord Ramachandra was received with decorations used from nature, like banana trees, betel nut trees, and especially banana trees and betel nut trees which has flowers and fruits in it. Sometimes you can see the banana tree is grown and there will be one branch stemming out full of fruits. It's considered very auspicious. And then it will also have one banana stem, one banana flower. So these things are all considered very auspicious signs. Even betel nut trees are tied at the entrances. And in every auspicious occasion, marriage, namakarana, people used to do that, very common thing. And the gates were decorated with various flags, colorful cloths, tapestries, that means nice artwork with embroidery, silk work. Those kind of cloths must be hanging all around. Mirrors, garlands decorated everywhere. So much opulence just being identified. Just like petroleum is a big cause of concern that it's getting over in the UAE countries. So they're very much concerned what to do. Now they're coming with electric cars. Then I happened to meet one engineer who's into this rig engineering. They go in the middle of the sea and then they extract oil. So he had been traveling across the world, many countries. He said, Prabhuji, it's only in UAE, one part, the source is over. But across the world, we have already spotted many places where there is enough oil. Many places already they have found out. So that is a fact. Like elsewhere, Prabhupada said, actually this earth is floating in space because there is oil or petroleum in the earth, below the earth. Because petrol converts to gas And as we know, when you blow up some gas in the balloon, it will be floating in space. We know that. It's a very simple example to understand. Like that, this is Krishna's. Prabhupada says it might be Krishna's own arrangement. There is a lot of petroleum across the earth, so that it can convert itself to gas and make the earth planet afloat in the space. So sometimes we have heard in Puranas only specific instances where the earth lost its weightlessness, principle of weightlessness, and fell down. The Hiranyaksha once did that. He took out the earth and then threw it as a ball. There are such demons they can take earth in their hand like a ball and throw it down. So such demons were there. So Hiranyaksha did once. So Prabhupada says that sometimes the demons cause disturbance in the natural arrangement of the Lord. So we are trying to take away the petrol from one part of the earth, which may cause a very dangerous situation for the earth, because there could be an imbalance. Everything is balanced in the creation of the Lord, but you take away that balance in one part of the earth, then it may fall down from its orbit, and that's what happened earlier. Otherwise it never happens. Anyway, so even one place Prabhupada says, even petroleum Krishna can supply unlimitedly. If there is shortage, Krishna will supply more petrol, provided we are Krishna conscious. So like that. So everything is unlimited in the Lord's creation. Nothing is a shortage. So if we are only Krishna conscious, all supplies will come by itself. All supplies will come. All opulences will come. Elsewhere, it is described by Bilva Mangala Thakur. Very nice description. Bilva Mangala Thakur says that he uses an expression, to the queen of devotional service, the opulence of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha presents itself naturally. So the example is given, just like when the queen moves out of the palace, then all the queen's attendants, hundreds and thousands, will also follow the queen naturally. Similarly, to the queen of devotional service, that which is highly praised, called Dharmartha Kama Moksha, Samaye Pratiksha, it simply follows the queen of devotional service, and all opulences will follow devotional service. We simply have to do seva to Krishna, devotional service to Krishna. That's all. Unlimited opulence will manifest even on the earth. There's one example in this regard. In the Nectar of Devotion, there's a very nice reference by Rupa Goswami. There's a very nice chapter we should read. We all should read. That chapter is called Qualities of Sri Krishna. Very nice chapter. There are two chapters, two divisions, then further qualities of Krishna described. So Krishna has got about 64 transcendental qualities. In that, quality number 48 describes Krishna's opulence when he was present on the earth in Dwaraka. So there, Rupa Goswami describes, glorifying Krishna's greatness in terms of his opulence, Krishna's own family. Krishna's own family consisted of 560 million members. That means about 5.6 crore people. It is not a function. Krishna's own family. So any function is there, their own family is 5.6 crore people. We have to make such a big arrangement for calling people, inviting people, go door to door or call them. So if a function is there, 560 crore, 5.6 crore members are there. And Rupa Goswami says they were all very faithful to Krishna. And to house these 5.6 crore family members, Krishna constructed more than 9 lakh palaces for them to house them. And the unique feature Rupa Goswami highlights there is, in each of those palaces, Lord Krishna was installed and worshipped by every family member. This is the secret. If Krishna is installed and worshipped anywhere, limitless opulence will manifest. 100%. Because wherever Krishna is there, Lakshmi will manifest. And Radharani also will manifest. Spiritual opulence and material opulence combined will be present in that place. Could be anybody. What is the proof? Rupa Goswami, his speciality is, even Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, these two personalities, the unique feature of these two great acharyas is, whatever they speak, they will back up with a reference, with a quote. So then it carries more weightage, right? Rupa Goswami says, gives a proof for this. Bilvamangala Thakur described, O Krishna, what can I glorify about the opulence of Vrindavana and the gopis in Vrindavana? Even the anklets which they are wearing is more valuable than Chintamani. And the dresses which they are wearing is more special than Parijata flowers of the Vaikuntha, Goloka, particularly Goloka. The cows in Dwaraka are actually as good as the Surabhi cows in Goloka. And finally he said, Krishna, I cannot describe. It's an ocean of opulence in Dwaraka and it is immeasurable. This is what Bilvamangala Thakur said about Dwaraka and Krishna's opulence. There is one more nice reference, again by Rupa Goswami, describing Krishna's quality in terms of his magnanimous nature. Magnanimity means charitable disposition, means very broad-minded, to give away. This is the 29th quality of Krishna among the 64 qualities. So Rupa Goswami says, when Krishna was ruling Dwaraka, he was so magnanimous and charitably disposed that there was no limit to his charity. You can see the Aishwarya manifesting so much in Dwaraka. The land in Dwaraka was made of touchstone, and there were desire trees, Surabhi cows, and all these opulences surpass the opulence in the spiritual world. Rupa Goswami says, wherever Krishna is present, the limitless opulence of Goloka Vrindavana will be present there. Actually, Rupa Goswami also says, Dwaraka excel the opulences even in Goloka. Then he clarifies saying that, explains further saying that, actually wherever Krishna is present, unlimited opulence will also manifest there. This is a fact even today, or even those days, anytime. So, as we all knew, Krishna's one more opulence, that when Krishna married 16,108 queens, he expanded himself as 16,108 Krishnas. That's also another opulence. And he resided in 16,108 palaces. Now Rupa Goswami says, Lord Krishna had a system of giving charity of 13,054 cows every day. 13,054 cows every day from every palace. That means 16,108 into 13,054 cows he was giving charity every day. So you can imagine the number of cows. Unlimited practically. And Prabhupada writes, that was the system of Krishna's daily affairs while he was ruling Dwaraka. So just imagine the magnanimity of Krishna and the opulence of Krishna. In the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, it is described by Shukadeva Goswami, again describe the opulence of Gokula, the residents of Gokula, that they were so rich, unlimitedly rich, that they would throw butter on each other in a playful mood. It is just like, if you want to appreciate, pouring pouring ghee on each other. Pure ghee, not RG ghee. RG ghee is, I know you know about it, 90% dalda, 10% ghee. So generally the cooks use that. So you get a ghee fragrance. They have a special formula for that. You will not sense any dalda in that. You will get total ghee smell. The RG ghee. So you'll get a ghee fragrance, but 90% is dalda. Not like pure ghee from pure cow's milk. Imagine if somebody is able to pour ghee on each other. Actually, they were throwing butter on each other. And Shukadeva Goswami says so much opulence was there that even the cowherd men community, cowherd woman community were completely adorned with full of gold jewelry, heavy with gold jewelry. We see today only in Tirumala the Lord being adorned with golden jewelry. And Jagannath Puri, yes, I think day before yesterday there was Sonavesh, Sunday. The Lord is decorated with full golden ornaments. Maybe some exceptional temples, the Lord's grace is there. The Lord is adorned with full golden jewelry. The Lord is adorned with full golden jewelry. Here we can see that ordinary, just like you can say our milkman comes morning 5 o'clock, he milks and then brings it and keeps in the kitchen, some half bucket milk he brings. Imagine the milkman is coming fully decorated with, with this, what is Kangana, this thick gold bracelet, thick gold chain, golden earrings. How will it look? All the cowherdmen community were completely adorned with golden, heavy with golden paraphernalia. So Prabhupada said this was the opulence in Krishna's time. And here also we see in Rama's time so much. Here if you want to go to public place for sit out, how it will be? What will you see left and right? Simply garbage. Simply garbage. I'm not criticizing, please don't take me wrongly. But we are just trying to understand the opulence of Lord Rama's time. Golden water pots are kept where even people, evening hours, no old people, generally they gather, they discuss your family, my family, and what's going on. We chit chat. A very common practice even those days. There were public meeting places. Golden water pots are kept. In the entrance gates of the palaces, golden water pots are kept. What is the opulence? If you want to know what is religiousness, what is being religious, because the secret of all the Aishwarya, material or spiritual, is being Krishna conscious or Rama conscious. That is why we have Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, both we have. We have Krishna. Imagine then our opulence. It is opulence square. We have Krishna also, we have Rama also. It's opulence square. We are floating in opulence square of Rama Krishna consciousness, Krishna Rama consciousness, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. And Radharani, Hare. Imagine Lakshmi Radharani also is there. Krishna also is there. Ramachandra is there. How much the potency is multiplied like anything. So actually we have nothing to lament and nothing to worry about in our life. We should always meditate on these things. So the secret is being religious. Today unfortunately people are going away from religion. But that is the greatest misfortune. In the Bhagavatam 2nd canto, 10th chapter, verse number 36, which is the I think last verse in the sequence of the Chatushloki Bhagavata. Prabhupada quotes one very, very important verse from one of the uh, Vedic literatures. He says, the greatest fear, the greatest anomaly, the greatest calamity takes place if you forget Krishna even for a moment. See how the Acharyas are describing the greatest calamity, not corona, not the earthquake. The greatest calamity, the greatest destruction, the greatest disaster is forgetting Krishna even for a moment. This is how the Vyasadeva is described. Anomaly means something not to happen in our life. Not suffering, calamity, disaster. These words are very different than suffering and misery. Calamity and disastrous means something very, very serious. Actually, the Acharyas are describing forgetting Krishna. See their realization. This is a fact. So therefore, being Krishna conscious is of utmost importance. Being religious. So Rupa Goswami again describes how people were extremely religious during Krishna's time, as we see here also during Rama's time. What it means to be religious. Somebody says, Prabhuji, I am a very dharmic person. I am a very religious minded person. People say, right? So, how do you define a religious person? Rupa Goswami says, simply professing a kind of faith. Simply telling, see, I am a Hindu. I am a Christian. I am a Muslim. I am so and so. I am a believer of God. Is not being religious. Religious means, Rupa Goswami says, you should practice the principles of religion and show it by your personal example and teach to others. Such a person is considered to be religious. So Rupa Goswami now gives two examples, two instances. He says very nicely, when Krishna was present on this planet, once Narada Muni spoke to Lord Krishna in a very joking manner. He said, my dear Lord, your bulls, means whom Krishna was taking care of, your bulls, while eating the grasses on the pasturing grounds, has certainly eaten the grass of all irreligion. That means, when Krishna was there, religion was so much cared for that practically there was no irreligious practices going on. This was the situation. The last reference, this is a very interesting reference. Again by Rupa Goswami, he says that when Krishna was ruling Dwaraka, he was the king of Dwaraka, every day he would perform Vedic sacrifices. Of course, sacrifice is meant to please Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. As we saw here also, Lord Ramachandra did 13,000 years sacrifice after Mother Sita left him and entered the earth. So when Lord Krishna or Lord Rama perform sacrifices, it is to satisfy themselves. But when we perform sacrifice, it is to satisfy Krishna. Even the Hare Krishna Japa is a sacrifice. Japa Yajna, it is meant to satisfy Krishna, for Krishna's pleasure. Every sacrifice is meant for Krishna's pleasure. So, when Krishna was performing sacrifices every day, he would invite the Devatas from the heavenly planets. So every day, all the Devatas would come to Dwaraka to attend the sacrifice arranged by Lord Krishna. Every single day. Practically one after the other, Krishna used to perform sacrifices, so much so that the Devatas are practically on the earth only. They were not returning back only to heavenly planet. Because one sacrifice is over, Krishna is starting one more. So again Krishna is saying, no, please stay back. Prasadam over, one more sacrifice we're starting. After that you can take prasadam and leave. So they take prasadam and leave. Again, no, Krishna is, no, one more sacrifice. You can just stay back. It's a nice invitation. So how can somebody avoid Krishna's invitation? Like that, continuously Krishna would perform sacrifices, and practically Devatas were residing here on the earth, they are on heaven. One time it so happened, the wives of the Devatas became very upset. And they started praying, "Oh Lord Buddha, please come down early." Actually, they should have been happy that Krishna has already come. Vishnu, as Krishna has already come, they should have been happy. So why are they praying for Buddha? If Krishna has gone, there is no avatara, there is no God, you can pray for one more Lord. Lord's avatara, so that everything is fine. So Krishna is then, instead of being satisfied with Krishna, and furthermore, Krishna is performing so many sacrifices, why are they unhappy? Because they are unhappy because they are not with their husbands. All the time they are in the Bhulok only. One after the other sacrifices are going on. So completely they are absent from the heavenly planets. So being unhappy by separation from their husbands, they prayed, "Oh Lord Buddha, you better come down." Now why did they pray to Buddha? Because Buddha stopped Vedic sacrifices. So therefore, there will be no more sacrifices. Then Devatas will return back to their respective kingdoms in heaven. So they can have their husbands. Therefore, these ladies prayed for Buddha's avatar. So the point here is, this is the kind of religious practices which were going on during Lord Krishna's time. So similarly, if we also continue our religious practices of chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds, worshipping Krishna, offering food to him, doing all the seva for the pleasure of the Lord, either in the form of deity or in the form of the holy name or in the form of Bhagavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya we say, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam we say. So these are all Nitya Sevas. Chanting Krishna's name, doing Sankirtana. These are Nitya Sevas. If this goes on, with unlimited opulence, even materially. We are all very concerned about countries being poor, concerned about the GDP. But actually, if you become Krishna conscious, unlimited opulence will manifest. Even material opulence will manifest. What is because spiritual opulence? That is described by Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita. Spiritual opulence is varieties of rasas, Krishna prema, varieties of Krishna prema, flavors in Krishna prema, flavors in Krishna prema. Just like we have different kinds of juices, fruit juices, pineapple juice, mango juice, and so many nice varieties are there. So there is flavors in the rasas, every jiva's relationship with the Lord. Devotional service is full of variety and transcendental flavors. They will manifest as we do our seva and our sadhana nicely. All these things we will come to taste. So this is the limitless opulence available. So I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.